back to the Whatnots Reactor Core number 117. We have a reaction, review, spoiler cast, whatever, of Fast X. We are excited to dive into this one. My name is Kyle Springer. I am joined by Melissa Wilkinson. Melissa, how are you?
I'm doing good. I do want to say that I was listening to a film review podcast talk about this, where one of the critics had gotten literally invited to a critic screening of fasTEN, and the invitation specified, you pronounce this fasTEN.
Oh, well, no wonder they didn't invite us.
I mean, they told critics, they didn't tell measly little podcast YouTubers.
Right, yeah.
They didn't get down to us buffoons. So I think you can pronounce it how you want. I'm just letting you know what I have heard.
It's actually Fast Cross. If you guys know, yeah,
Fast Chris.
Yeah, exactly.
Fast multiplied by what? Wait till the next movie to find out. That's part of the cliffhanger.
Yeah. There you go. So we have a spoiler cast to get to here. I'm excited. I went to go see this Thursday night. I think you went on Saturday, or today is
I went on
Saturday.
Friday night.
You went on Friday. We've been excited about this one because over on one of our other podcasts, the Whatnots review show, which you guys can get right here on our YouTube channel as well, we covered all of the Fast franchise in the, 3 movie chunks.
Yes.
And that was to lead up into this. So here we are, finally, with fasTEN.
Finally, we say. So the context is, years ago, you had seen the first 3 movies. I had seen 0 movies. So just a couple months ago, you and I watched all of these movies for the first time. We got hooked that quickly. I knew already, I got to be there Friday night, center of the IMAX screening. I was ready. Yes. It was a thrilling environment to be in. I am so happy. I deliberately went for the theater that was going to be the most crowded. There was a lot to clap over. There was a lot of cheering at the end of this. I was happy to be there amongst the energy, amongst the family.
There you go. So you said, so did you in fact sit right in the middle of your IMAX screening that you had?
I sat in the middle on the horizontal axis, but I was a couple rows from the top. Good view. Okay. I got really lucky.
So that may have been a weird question to ask. I asked that because, Melissa, in my theater, I sat in seat F10.
Oh my gosh!
Right in the middle.
Wow!
Yeah, it was the one right in the very center.
You're the blessed one, Kyle. You've been chosen. You will drive the car next.
Yeah, exactly. That they didn't invite me to the critics screening, but I'll be in the car next time. So there you go.
Look under your seats. You've all been awarded one free Corona.
I have the golden ticket, the golden Corona. Good stuff. I guess just off the top, what are your kind of spoiler-free thoughts on fasTEN?
This was a lot of fun. I think it was a good stakes raise to it. You really can feel that we are in the penultimate film here. I believe we've got 2 more. They've upped it from 11 to 12 films in the whole thing. So we're going to be with this arc for the final 3 films of the series. As high octane as it has been up till now, I think they do a great job of things are different now. This one does feel different.
Sure. Yeah. Man, I have to say, I am maybe a little bit more on the opposite side of the spectrum. I didn't like this one as much.
As what?
It just wasn't their best showing. If you were it's not their worst one. I think there were some more boring ones in there, right? But I think the first, at least the first third of this movie, maybe more like the first half, I thought it was kind of boring. I don't know, but I did like the second half a lot. Once they get through the setup of everything, and it is just the big, dumb, ridiculous car action stuff. I liked that a lot better, which I don't know what that says about me exactly.
That is what the franchise does best.
Right.
Nobody blames you for wanting the big dumb car action.
At the end of the day, that is what this franchise, its strength, it is. There's some cheesy acting every now and then. There's some cheesy lines every now and then. There's some ridiculous, like, what is happening moments in this movie. But at the end of the day, it is just the car action stunts, the chase scenes, and the ridiculousness of it. And I think despite maybe not liking the first half, I walked away being like, you know what? I still had a lot of fun.
Did you fall asleep when like the big bomb was rolling around Rome? That was great. That was like 30 minutes in.
I was like, this is so dumb. I was like, this is ridiculous. Like,
Kyle, we all know this. This is like the bar. This is par for the course for the whole thing. Like, you don't have to keep saying it's dumb. Like, your college isn't going to call you and revoke your degree because you like a dumb movie, and you have to keep qualifying it as a dumb movie.
I'm not saying like, oh man, I thought this was kind of dumb. Is anything bad going to happen to me? No, these movies are dumb, and I love them because of that. But I just like, I think with the trajectory of where the franchise had been going, that opening sequence of the bomb just rolling around Rome felt kind of out of place. Like, it felt ridiculous in a way that was like, oh, that does not fit with some of the stuff that I know, or that like the trajectory of the franchise. I think also it was weird to me that this was one of the first ones where they are really worried about like civilians and being like, oh, we need to protect them and save them. And they had that whole stunt where he like knocks down the little cabana thing to save some people. And that hasn't been a thing really in the rest of the franchise. But
2 points.
Yeah.
The trailer for fasTEN came out when we were midway through our journey watching all these movies for the first time. So for me, it doesn't feel out of place because watching the last set of movies, I already knew this was going to happen. I already knew we are going towards big roll around bomb. And I forget at what point in the story they really learn Dante's identity, but I guess thematically it makes sense, even if it doesn't logically make sense, that this is the movie when a previously unseen bystander comes back from 5 movies ago to attack them. That now is when they start thinking, oh man, we'd better watch out for current bystanders. We can't have this happen again.
Yeah. But yeah, like I think at the end I walked away and like, you know what, this was still a lot of fun. I really enjoyed this. I think Jason Momoa was an interesting choice to play the villain in this, and the way that he plays the character, I think might be off-putting for some, just because of how out there he is with his performance. He is chewing up the scenery, and he looks like he's having
so much fun.
Oh yes, my God, he is. Yeah,
I enjoyed him a lot. He's perhaps like a little too flamboyant in a tropey way, but I like that it is a different energy than we've ever had in this franchise so far. And at one point when he's like painting his nails and he says to his cohorts that it like softens up their masculinity or whatever, he has a point. It's not like I would want another big macho guy in this franchise again. So I do appreciate they're deviating from a pattern. They are trying something new.
Yes. I also walked away from this one like, again, this is the thing I know about the franchise, but this is the one that felt most true to that realization is that this is just an anime. Like this is exact. Like, if you look at this as an anime, everything fits, and it's just like, this makes so much sense. Think about how flamboyant Jason Momoa's performance was. That's like the anime, the like queer coded anime villain like it fits, it makes sense, and I was just like, you know what, this is good, this is good, this is great.
I don't know anime as well as you do, but I can picture Team Rocket.
Right? Yes. Yeah.
That's a starting point for me.
Yeah. So yeah, I think if you have enjoyed the franchise in the past, go check this one out. There's some cliffhanger endings. There is a mid-credits scene, so stay for that. But yeah, I think I had a good time with this. Did you want to add anything else before we get into spoilers and start mentioning a few things that, if you haven't seen it yet, maybe you don't want to?
No, let's go into the spoilers, because I've got a question I have to ask you right away.
All right. Cue the spoiler graphic. That's happening right now. Melissa, ask your question. Go ahead. What's happening?
Who did you think was going to come out of the submarine at the end?
I don't know.
See, I was predicting there's Mr. Nobody holding a beer. He's going to open up the hatch and he's got a beer in one hand. Because they do repeatedly mention that he's somewhere. He's missing. Maybe Queenie can get to him. I don't know. Like, he's just sort of
maybe he's
on the board somewhere. Right. He's on the board somewhere, but we don't know where he is on the board. To have Giselle in it. Giselle, which is a character people have been wanting to see come back. There was no clues at it. She hadn't specifically been mentioned at any point in the movie. I think it was a really nice diversion that she's the one who shows up at the end.
Back, though?
Folks have been, when I hear podcasts and things, they're like seeing all these people come back. They're like, I hope Giselle's one of them. For her love story with Han. Their love was true.
Yeah. That, like, all right, so I think this movie does a lot of like bait and switching in ways here, because they start with Han like making his dating app profile.
They make it for him
immediately. Yeah,
they make it for him,
and just immediately gets all of the matches and stuff. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, everyone wants Han to have a happy ending. And I think this is a move more so for Han rather than fans of Giselle, right?
We weren't there.
When she popped up out of this hub at the end, I was just like, what? What is happening? How is she? What? No.
Our audience was thrilled. We loved it.
Man, the ones that I watched this with were all silent. Like no reactions. No,
Carl, you were in
anything.
seat F10. It was your job. You were assigned to bring the energy.
I wasn't silent. I was the one like throwing my hands up in the air, being like, "What?
That's not a noise. A hand isn't a noise."
But I think also there was a moment earlier on in the film when Han is like, hey, I have to do this alone, because he thinks he knows where they can get some guns and some cars and stuff like that. Yeah. In that moment, I thought he was about to go back to the Yakuza and be like, hey, I know I'm not supposed to be here really, but like we need help.
That would be nice
to see him, like his sister's out there. Like, could he have gone back to his sister to do? That's who it was, right? In the
who was
it was Han's sister, right? When we get all those flashbacks about how he survived, Han's sister.
I don't remember
the older movies when they explain how he survived all that stuff.
Mr. Nobody helped him survive. There was that girl Elle in the last movie.
That was that not his sister?
No. Okay. No. He just adopted her because her parents got assassinated.
Sure. So then, where's she in all
I don't
of
know
this?
where she's at. I don't know. I don't remember how
That's
the
my
last
point.
movie ended with her storyline. Okay.
Yeah, of like, could he have gone back to her? Could he have gone back to the Yakuza, from where could they have gone back to Lil Bow Wow, right? Working on all of his stuff back there to get some
We
rocket
need a
cars.
Hulk car.
Right?
Only
Yes,
one
I would
car
have loved
can
to
do
see
this
that come
job.
back.
It's the Hulk car.
Please. That is the, like, I wanted the Hulk car more than I wanted Giselle.
That might be true for me too, but I was still excited to see her.
Anyways, yeah, let's talk a little bit more about the main stuff happening between Dom and his family, and what's Jason
Dante.
Momoa's character's name again? Yeah, Dante.
Dante, like the Inferno.
There you go, raging inferno indeed. Yeah, like, what did you think about the flashbacks to, yes, that like we have a character who was collateral kind of in one of their previous heists, and he is now back, unbeknownst to them. He has worked in the shadows to finally make everything, go his way, and he's making Dom suffer.
It works in the context of this franchise. Like, there's things that work here that don't work in other movies, which I say as a compliment. I think especially going back to the Fast Five, a real fan favorite, a real turning point for the franchise. If there was anything to pull from, I think that is an appropriate place to do it. I like that it got us back in that setting, like back on that same bridge. I love getting to meet Elena's sister. Again, characters we've never heard of up until this point, but, happy to have them. I love that it's all relations. There's not a single person with no blood relation that has shown up to anybody. There's no strangers. There's no unconnected dots.
For sure. Yeah, I liked it a lot. I think this is a franchise that really centers around the idea of family, as you all know, but just the lengths at which Dom is willing to go to protect his family. I kept thinking back to the scene, I guess it was in 9, right, where Lottie, not Lottie, I'm thinking of the Yellow Jackets, yeah, Letty and Lil B have to like hide in that little bunker there, and how much he does not want something like that to happen again. And here it happens again, kind of, right, when Cypher shows back up. And I think with the way this movie ends, like, I don't know, I feel like there's going to have to be some kind of separation. I don't know what you thought here of like him sending them away to safety while he takes care of them, or something. I don't know. It feels like they are trying to pass the torch in a ways, but not in a way that's like, oh, we want to make 30 more of these movies here, and we'll see the adventures of Lil B, right? He's like, as they say in this, they want to make it better for the next generation, right? And I think this end scene where they are at the bottom of the dam, and that thing is about to come down. You don't know how they're gonna make it out. You don't even know if some of their friends have survived. It feels like something is going to be happening. That is, there's going to be a reckoning that is happening here. I don't know what's happening. My camera is all of it is stuttering. The recording is being really weird and funky. I don't know why it is doing that. I am dropping frames so much right now. That is wild. Melissa, is my internet connection still good? Can you hear me still?
You look fine to me. Nothing has changed.
It must be OBS, because now it's back to normal. Anyways, OBS is back. We had some technical issues there. I'm not sure how much I'm gonna chop out or all of that stuff, but my point is, this movie ends on a cliffhanger in a way that the franchise hasn't seen yet, and it really feels like there is some kind of reckoning coming for the family here. Whether maybe not all the characters survive, maybe they don't get a happy ending, maybe they do. But it feels like there's going to be some kind of separation.
I would say that again in another franchise, but this is the franchise that has proven time and time again, nobody's really dead. Even the character portrayed by an actor who died midway through filming is still alive. The fact that this franchise said Brian is still alive, he just retired, I feel like the end of the entire series is going to be in tune with that decision. With this, if we have enough faith, if we believe in ourselves enough, if we work hard enough, we can make this world to be what we want it to be. Like, I think there's an optimism to the Fast franchise where I don't see a tragedy in the this will be a happy ending. I don't think it's going to be something. I don't think Dom would die. I don't think Vin Diesel would kill Dom.
I don't know. I could potentially see that happening, to be honest. And just like have that, like, but like you said, in an optimistic way, where even though he died and they still need to live on and continue and all that stuff, there is this sense of, well, he left it better for his son, for the next generation. And I think that has been, I mean, they've done stuff with that, like you said, with Brian and his character, that he is still a presence in this franchise. I don't know, though. I really have no idea how this will end.
This is a spoiler cast for fasTEN, so I'm not going to speak specifically about another movie that has come out recently. But there's another movie that people went into thinking characters would die, and then they did not. So I don't know.
For sure, yeah. I mean, we can speculate all.
We may be in a new trend. Maybe this is some sort of a post lockdown trend where, after dealing with the pandemic, writers are like, "What if nobody in the script dies? What if our heroes live? Wouldn't that be nice? I don't want to deal with death anymore."
Who knows? I mean, we also have the writer's strike happening right now, and I saw that the Screen Actors Guild, I believe, is also voting on if they want to strike now too. So who knows all the ramifications of what that will mean for franchises like this too. But Jason Momoa, his character, man, he is in a completely different movie, and he is having a blast, and it works.
I don't know if he is in a different movie. Again, he doesn't feel out of place, but he does feel like something fresh in here. And like I said,
feel like he is out of place, but you're right. It is fresh. Like, I do want to see, because like you said, if he plays I don't want to say typical Jason Momoa character, but the big burly macho man that Vin Diesel is, that The Rock is, that Ames is in this, it would just be kind of boring. And so I'm so glad that he went this more androgynous route, where he is painting his nail. He is finely dressed and has all kinds of jewelry on.
Wonderful. Amazing. I want to say at large, there are several great outfits in this. I love Rita Moreno's look. There's cool looks in this movie. I really liked a lot of the costumes.
Incredible range from characters who get married in their wife beaters to
wife marriers. We decided that tank top is now referred to as a family lover tank top after Tom Toretto.
But yeah, I had a blast whenever he was on screen. I like the inclusion also of Lil B not just being kind of a burden on the characters, right? And him like just always kind of being shoved to the side, but them trying to bring him in and include him, not in a way like, all right, here's how we plan a heist. Well, like, you're in on this one.
B,
but,
this is your job.
Right? Roman failed us, so you're the next in line, right?
You have to be the distraction, Lil B.
No, but like, they as much they are still trying to protect him and kind of get him out of harm's way, they are also trying to be inclusive of him and not just be like, really, I'm stuck with you. Like, this sucks.
They trust him. They like him. Every adult in his life really likes Lil B and wants to spend time with him. I did like the subplot that's just him and Uncle Jacob. I think those are two new characters, and to see them spend time together when they haven't had the chance before, I thought that was nice to like have. If this kid's going to be with somebody, of course everybody is family, but to put him with a blood relation feels extra special. John Cena just plays so well with kids. I looked at that and I wondered if this sort of kid adventure, you're with your cool pro wrestler uncle storyline, is made for like adults who are taking their kids or their grandkids to this movie. Like, I grew up, like, this franchise has been around for 22 years. Like, I grew up with these movies. Now I want to introduce them to you. There's a kid your age in the movie. I think you're going to like it.
Yeah. I mean,
that's just heartwarming for me.
I feel like the not cynical take, but the like, I don't know, just the I think it's easy to think like, oh, they're setting him up to carry the franchise down the road. Well, whether it's that same actor or someone else that, you know, it's like, oh, 10 years later, here he is, right? Street racing, back to basics. I don't think they have to. I kind of don't want them to, but I see that as an option for them down the road if they do want to pick it up. But yeah, I liked him in this. I liked just his kind of in like, despite being in danger through all of this, just how much fun he's also having. To, like you said, like, he's just having a blast with his uncle, being like, look at this sweet car. And he's like, that's not mine. This one. He's like, oh, that one.
I love Little B's protect our ocean pajamas. And I like when they've got the plane fueled by alcohol, and he's like, oh, I know what alcohol is. And he grabs some rosé, and Jacob's like, that's not right, work, but exactly. Thanks for the initiative. Good try.
Did you know that the flight attendant on the plane is Paul Walker's daughter?
I did.
She had a cameo in that.
We probably watched the same breakdown video. Yes, I did just learn that. That's very nice.
Did not. I've not watched any kind of breakdown stuff, but my partner was the one that clued me, and she must have seen something online. I was like, oh, I had no idea. That was cool. That was nice to see her, like, not only have a cameo, but have this, like, I got you, and I know, right? Like,
I will provide for the new
she's
Brian.
Part of the family too, right?
Yeah, everybody's part of the family.
Exactly.
Before I forget, I want to go back briefly to Dante. I like that he's a very different type of man that we've seen in the franchise so far, and there aren't jokes about that. Like, nobody teases him or makes fun of him or calls him a freak or anything like that. Like something you would imagine in another movie from perhaps several years ago. I do like that. I appreciate it. I see it.
Yeah. Yeah, I appreciated that a lot as well. I thought that the stuff between Cypher and Letty was also pretty interesting. I liked that stuff a lot because we obviously know that Cypher killed I
Elena.
don't remember her name. Yeah, Elena, but Letty was not around to see that. She's kind of only experienced this second hand through what Dom has told her. And it was interesting to get to see those two characters interact and like very obviously not trust each other, not like each other. but kind of have to work together in a strange way. Again, that storyline isn't over yet. I don't know if there's gonna be some kind of redemption thing for Cypher to bring her into the family too.
There are
kinda
a lot of redemption arcs. Which I kind of like. I kind of like that this series' MO is everybody's alive and everybody's family. Like anybody can survive and change their ways and find a new path and develop new relationships. Again, there's an optimism to this franchise.
Yeah, for sure. I think I would kind of prefer her direction to go in. Yeah, she does get some closure. I think they resolve that situation, but I don't necessarily want her brought into the family, right? Like I want her to go her own way. Maybe she then goes to start her own family somewhere else.
That would be nice.
Something like that might be nice. But yeah, their fight scene.
Cheers fantastic. For that too in the audience. That robotic like surgical laser is brought in. There's inventive stuff there. Early at the beginning of the movie, when Lil B comes home from his driving lessons, he's like, "Mom, you should have seen it," or something. But he calls Letty mom, and there's this like flash of trepidation on her face, and you learn that her and Dom are trying to conceive a child, and it just hasn't taken yet. So you wonder if it's this sort of uneasy feeling of I'm trying to be a mom in another way, and I'm not succeeding at it yet. But also, I think there's always been this is one of my favorite details in the series, that Letty and Elena always had the utmost respect and honor for each other. I think that's such a nice touch. And that she has an awareness that I am not this boy's biological mother. His biological mother should be here. She should be in the picture. She should be here at the family barbecue. He should go spend, weekends with her or whatever, but she was murdered. And you don't have to be told that that's part of the fire behind why she is just beating up on Cypher.
Yeah.
And I like then we go to Brazil and we get to meet Elena's sister. Of course, this is a sister we've never heard of before, but that's never stopped this franchise before. How many different Shaws are there at any time?
Right.
I like getting to meet her, like getting to see Ratcatcher 2. Diana Melchior, I think is her name. Which I recognized her because I've seen Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 the last 2 weekends in a row. I'm like, I know that face. Last time we saw it was painted pink, but I know that face.
Yep, there you go. Indeed.
I like that there's almost a whole subplot about, hey, this character from several movies ago who didn't do a whole lot and died. We still have a lot more to say about her. We still remember her. We still honor her. Like for such a fleeting character that could have just been fleeting, the series really pays so much respect to Elena over and over again. I really appreciate that.
For sure. I want to move on to Roman for a little bit here, because the movie kind of starts with him trying to step up and be like, hey, I'm the one that's gonna lead this op here, this next op. Which unfortunately they find out that is the trap that Dante has set, so on and so forth. But I again, I don't really, I remember some beef happening in the behind the scenes stuff around Roman's character and the actor that plays him and stuff like that. I don't really remember what it was about exactly. So I don't know if it was that he wanted his character to be taken more seriously, or he wanted more money, or who knows what. But I despite all of that, I like what they often do with his character, because we have, it was F9, right, where he has his we're superheroes, right, we're invincible. And then immediately in this movie, he gets in a fight with Tej, and they're just struggling to hit one another. They had the weakest fight I've ever seen in this franchise, and it's so funny. But then immediately after that, they turn things right around. And he's feeling down on himself. Like, man, I messed this up. Like, I genuinely tried to step up and I failed. Like, I could not judge this. And Tej, instead of making some joke or stuff like that, is actually like, no, you stepped up. You led with your own money on your own initiative. Like, that's stuff that a leader does. And he has this, like, hey, despite all of the jokes, all of that stuff, like this real loving moment of just like, I see you and I understand you.
I love that they hug and they literally say to each other, I love you. Like, we can see that it's there, between all their jokes at each other have always had a good nature to them. We don't see it often, but Tej and Roman are friends. And I like that they chose to literalize that. I think that was a nice touch to not just do it metaphorically, but again, to show these macho guys literally saying, I love you. Let us embrace.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
I do like this arc for Roman of him trying to step up, trying to lead. And in these situations in this movie, it doesn't pay off as part of this larger, the sins of your past that you didn't even know were sins are coming back to haunt you, down to everything with the Dom and Dante storyline and Ramsey realizing God's eye is being used for something she never designed it to be used to. That's also a small but very impactful moment. I also love Roman with cash strapped to his chest like a bulletproof vest. I love him doling out money to the rest of the team like he's the dad with a fanny pack on vacation. Like, right, here's your money for Six Flags. Buy yourself lunch. Then if you have money left over, you can have a t-shirt. I'm not giving you any more.
He's great in these movies. I do have to say, I thought the whole scene of them going to that like internet cafe where Pete Davidson worked was just weird and bizarre in general.
It did bug me that Han ingests so much magic muffins that he hallucinates, but only for that scene, and then he's fine. I don't understand the logic.
Don't mention it. There's
I don't know what drug hits you so fast immediately and then disappears like an hour later. I don't know drugs.
That's something that I was talking about when we watched the other films. Is it sometimes felt like they just had a big checklist of like driving on the East Coast, driving on the West Coast, driving in the snow, driving in the rainforest, right? And they have this big checklist of different places they could drive or things they could drive, and it almost felt like driving on drugs was maybe one of the things that they had, and then like at the last second was like, maybe we shouldn't promote that one, right? Like maybe not a good thing there. Speaking of, I think this was also the first time in all of the Fast and the Furious franchise where they told a character to buckle up. Still have not seen a single airbag in any of these movies. But yeah, I just like, I guess I'm not a big fan of Pete Davidson. I don't really see why people like him. That's kind of beyond me. So that whole scene just kind of felt out of place of like, you kind of could have cut that scene and it would have been fine. Just gone straight to like Han knows someone and it's Hobbs and Shaw and whoever. Well, I guess Hobbs isn't there, but
it's nice to learn a tiny bit more about Ramsey. We learn that like her and Pete Davidson knew each other from some forum or some Discord or something. They both had rock star names. I like that her name was Freddie Merck and she's wearing this cool leather jacket. It feels like something he would wear, that Freddie Mercury would wear.
Awesome.
That was a nice connection point. The joke where like Roman's fighting somebody and he bumps into all this equipment there at the internet cafe, and in the background Pete Davidson says, "You hit the printer so hard, or it actually works now." Like that's...
they had that, and they had the like they enter and you hear the "You've got mail" from the America Online.
I've seen Pete Davidson very rarely, but every time I do see him, it feels like he is doing exactly what they brought him there to do. Also, this movie features 3 cast members from The Suicide Squad. I thought that was fun. In fact, this is the second movie I've seen this spring where I went in knowing I was going to see Helen Mirren, was surprised to see Gal Gadot at the end, and then also ran into some cast members from The Suicide Squad. It's this and Shazam.
Good stuff. I don't really have much else to say except I'm excited to see where this goes once again, because I felt like this one had a cliffhanger ending in the way that the others haven't ever really had before. Like each of the other ones felt like they kind of wrap up their storyline here, and the next one is on to the next heist, right? But this one just it felt like a part 1.
It is.
Yeah.
I guess it feels like what it is supposed to feel like then.
Yeah.
This movie checked all the boxes for me. I had a great time. I think there's really nice small touches in it. I like that when the bad guys come to attack the Toretto household, Mia puts up a fight, but she puts up a fight that's very believable for her character. She's just like hitting people with frying pans. She's elbowing them. It feels like exactly how she would know to fight. Like she's never been in the same sphere of action hero as the rest of the characters are. This is not some John Wick scene.
Right.
This does feel like normal lady fighting if like her brother and her husband were always getting up to antics. This feels like exactly what she would know.
I always got this from that scene. I got the sense that she's maybe not the best fighter, right? But she has been in some scraps knowing her family. And I think she knows how her brothers fight. Because I think
she's seen a lot. Yeah.
She's able to kind of predict Jacob's moves and get out of the way for him to like smash the one dude down on the couch from the second story. Like she could kind of like read him in a way that I thought was that's interesting. Like it's not explicit, but that's kind of the vibe that I got, which was neat.
I like that. Yeah. I'm very anxious about the fate of Queenie Shaw. She's a character I enjoy very much. That's another one of the dangling plot threads that Shaw goes off to save her.
Yeah.
Quite a ways from the end of the movie. He does that, and then there's like 45 minutes of movie, and we never cut back to what's going on there. Maybe that's the opening for Fast 11 is the rescue of Queenie Shaw.
Let me ask you this. With the mid-credits scene, being that Dante, it's Dante, right, who's still messing with Hobbs here. With the inclusion of Hobbs in this, did you feel like this was all set up for like Fast 11 or 12? Or did you think it was like, oh, could they be thinking about Hobbs and Shaw too?
That's a very comic book thing to do. Like the crossover events, like here's Crisis on it. You're the one who knows this literally, but it's Crisis on Infinite Earths is here in the main Superman story. But there's one very important piece of the mission that happens in like a random issue of Martian Manhunter or something. To have this huge 3-part finale where one of the parts of the finale is in a subset of movies.
Like I think I would kind of almost like that if it is Hobbs and Shaw dealing with the machinations of Dante and all of the stuff he's done to set them up. Because like Dante is still around, he's still alive, he's still out there. We don't know, like everything that happened in this movie ended up being according to his plan. And so that just makes me think, like, he's not doing this haphazardly. Like, he's not just chasing them with a car and a gun, being like, "I'll get you." He is methodical in a way that maybe the peacocking that he doesn't necessarily let on. But I think even in that scene with when he introduces himself to Cypher, right, is very much like, I had this whole thing planned out.
That's a great scene where he comes in, she's like got all these guards around her and they turn their guns on him and he's like, "Hey guys, hey Josh, hey Alan, hey Kevin's dad."
Right. Yeah. But I would kind of like to see, how Hobbs and Shaw deal with them, and it would feel like a continuation of this movie, but in a way that it's like, how can we flavor this as a Hobbs and Shaw movie instead, which would be an interesting take on the whole thing, because like I wasn't a huge fan of Hobbs and Shaw. That one also did feel like so tech, like cyber futuristic, and it was just like, this
True.
What is happening in this? So I'm wondering if there is a little bit more of that in a Hobbs and Shaw 2, if that is even a thing that they are thinking about. I don't know.
I like the scenes between Dom and Queenie because it's the one time it feels like not only is Dom welcoming somebody into his family, like she has welcomed him into her family, sort of. Like
they
he's
have
sort
a
of
mutual
branching.
respect.
Yes. Yeah. I like that she cares for him very much. And I like that Helen Mirren personally loves doing this and loves hanging out with Vin Diesel. That's very entertaining. That's very sweet. I was surprised to see Hobbs at the end because there's such a battle of egos, between The Rock and Vin Diesel. I do like that they were able to get past that, at least to get him into the movie. Who knows if those characters will intersect at all, but it does make sense that he is here. I like that he is here. And again, I think that they're bringing chess pieces onto the board that you're not actively thinking about.
And I still hope we get Yuki, or no, that's
Suki.
not her name. Yeah, Suki. I hope we get her. I hope we get the Hulk car.
Yes,
man, just bring all of that stuff back.
Hector.
What happened to the guy that the main character from Tokyo Drift raced in that start? Like, what happened to him? Like, now that he
that guy who got his car destroyed in like the unbuilt like housing development. Yes, him. He comes back.
What if he sees them on the news, been like, "This guy's a wanted terrorist now"? Like, I raced him in high school. What the hell?
One of the things in fasTEN that I think was that I did kind of roll my eyes at a little bit is when Tess goes to talk to Ames, and they're just in this real Spy Kids looking digital room with they're just on a platform in a green void that they filled with screens. Yeah. And when he wants to go out and count the members of the Fast family, he's like, "These are wanted terrorists. We are going after them." He has to get votes from this council of 13.
Yes.
All these silhouettes show up. Who are they?
What is that? What? Who is this shadow cabal? Is that?
I need to know them.
We find out about. Is that why Mr. Nobody is hiding out? Like is this the Winter Soldier of the Fast and the Furious franchise? That'd be kind of wild. I don't know. But I think at the end of the day, I had a blast.
I did
still, even if this is not my favorite of the ones that we've gotten.
I've
2 more left, man.
Yes,
I'm excited.
I know I don't have the same favorites as other people because of how we watch these movies. I've just had to watch all of them so fast. I've taken in all
and furiously
11 of these movies, counting Hobbs and Shaw, in the last 4 months. Whereas I know there's other people who have waited for these things like every couple years, and there's an anticipation for one movie that'll really affect how they feel about it, positive or negative, and I just watch all of them in a row. So I know I'm coming at this with a very different context, but I had a great time. I cheered. I teared up at stuff. The movies are still very emotional. There's laughs in there. There's well-rounded, fun time. Great to see in IMAX. Too loud, maybe. I forgot how loud IMAX is. It's like going to a concert in there. It looked incredible.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Also, the audience doesn't need to know this, but you need to know this. I saw the trailer for the Gran Turismo movie. I'm kind of interested in that Gran Turismo movie. I gotta tell you.
That's the thing. Like, when I left the theater, I was like, despite this one also not being my favorite, like you said at the start, they just do this like car action. Like, they are the best at
they
this.
are.
And so I kind of feel, because I didn't get the trailer for Gran Turismo. We got the trailer for Twisted Metal, the Peacock.
Interesting.
And I don't think that trailer is a very good trailer for Twisted Metal, and I don't think it's going to like I feel bad for stuff like Twisted Metal, the Gran Turismo movie, because I just don't think it's really gonna live up to it. I think I don't know if it's Tom Cruise. It could be someone else. I forget, but someone is working on a F1 movie. And if you watch Netflix's Drive to Survive, in like I think season 4, I believe it was, you do see Tom Cruise like standing there with the Mercedes team, like in their stuff. He's in, like, he has the headphones on, he's looking at all their screens. So I don't know if it was like him and Lewis Hamilton are teaming up to like make this stuff. I don't know, but that maybe has potential to, like, because we know that he does all of his own stunts. So I don't know, and like something like that, the Mission Impossible stuff will be great.
Since you've brought up Tom Cruise, I do have to invoke something that people said about Top Gun Maverick, which is a movie where you kept expecting Maverick to die, that this would be passing the torch to the next generation. And instead, Maverick lives and saves the day. And people are like, this is the movie where he passes the torch to himself. And I feel like that might be the trajectory this movie is on.
I wonder
Dom is still alive at the end of the day. He's still doing it.
He's still alive. They go back to California, wherever they were in that.
Los Angeles.
Their sandwich shop. He's running an auto body car. Lil B always gets the
arc.
The
Nobody has been
sandwich.
Thinking,
right.
This is the arc. This is the final beat of the final film, as Mia makes a good tuna sandwich.
Yes, for Lil B. Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
For the next Brian, the tuna will be good.
Good stuff. I had a blast with this one for sure, but I think that's all I have on.
One tiny little tidbit. When we see Dante hanging out with his 2 corpses of the goons that were with him, and he's just like got their faces taped up, and he's painting their nails before somebody buries them, which is it's some form of care, but also like the one guy who's not in frame with Jason Momoa, who they cut away to, that guy looks so gnarly. It's like really interesting, like horror imagery in a setting where I was not expecting to see it, and I thought that was kind of neat. That guy really does not look good. It's
played for laughs, but it is also like, this is gross and very sadistic and just ugh. So good stuff. Go see Fast
Plenty of
10
surprises.
if you haven't yet. Yeah,
plenty of surprises in the film. Yes. Why if you haven't seen it, but you're listening to us?
You never know. It happens.
We have no context. We just watched all of them, like this year, 2023, the start of my fast journey. No year before, this year.
Good stuff. I say we wrap things up right there then. So, Melissa, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Wilkywit. That's WILKYWIT. Listen to my other podcast, Saturday Morning Obscurities. And I'm just always here.
Absolutely. You guys can find me at Yo Kyle Springer. And if you would like to follow all of the stuff that we are up to here at The Whatnots, we are at The Whatnots on Twitter. So please go like, share, and subscribe. That would help us out a ton. You guys know the deal with all of that stuff. We got plenty more videos for you. If you're watching this on YouTube, they'll be right over there on that side of the screen. Go check them out. Maybe I'll put the Fast and the Furious, kind of the ones that we did up there for you guys to check out. But this has been number 117. We'll see you next time. Bye.